All right, we're back.
Yes, we are. It's what day is it, by the way?
I have no clue.
Wednesday. I believe it's Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday.
This is what happens when I moved out to the beach, is I got no clue what day it is.
Yes.
Yeah, not such a bad thing.
No. You know why it's not a bad thing?
Why is that?
You're not paying any rent.
Yeah, that's a good... Yeah. I also have no income. All right, so...
Your choice, not mine.
You endorsed me quitting my job.
I did.
Okay, so title of today's video has something to do with how much car can you afford, which is actually ironic that we mentioned how I quit my job because I now literally can't afford my car. Still trying to sell it, so feel free to message me if you're interested in a 2017 Volvo S90. But yeah, I want to hear your take, Dad, on how much car you can afford. It's a question that a lot of people ask and a lot of people want some insight on, and here's your chance to share your 2 cents.
Okay. Advice from my dad. No, from your dad.
From my dad.
Yeah, that's what I said, your dad. How much car can you afford? For most people, it comes down to what the monthly payment is. Now, I will tell you that we get an awful lot of comments from a lot of people that say, well, you should only pay cash for a car. And I agree. That's a wonderful thing to say. It's just that most people in America are not in a position to actually be able to do that. So for most folks, it comes down to what's an affordable payment. And part of that has to fall into what banks look at, which is your income to debt ratio.
Your DTI, right?
Or your debt to income ratio. Yeah.
Well, no, I think it's called DTI.
Sure.
It's like in baseball. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Because he's the expert. So anyway, the banks look at your debt to income ratio, and for most debt, whether it's all combined debt, they don't really want it to be more than a total of 40%. 35 to 40% of your gross earnings. So let's just say, for example, that you earn $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year. So what would 40% of your gross earnings be? Let's do the math.
I'm not actually an expert, so don't ask me.
Okay, I believe that would be about $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, would be 40% of your gross earnings.
Yeah.
So, of that $2,000, you need to have rent.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
For
housing. Yeah.
Housing. So it's either going to be rent or a mortgage.
Yeah.
There's going to be a car payment. So your mortgage and those expenses and your car payment in this case couldn't exceed all of this combined more than $2,000 in a month. So if your mortgage or rent is $1,500 a month, well, then that says the max you could have for a car payment would be $500 a month.
Okay. So this is how the banks look at it.
Well, yes.
Okay.
And when you factor it that way, that works out to about 10% of your gross income. So my recommendation
what factors out to 10%? The car payment?
Yes.
Okay.
So my recommendation for people when they're trying to figure out what you can actually afford for your car is about 10% of your gross monthly income. So if you're somebody that's making $5,000 a month, realistically, you should be able to afford a car payment of no more than $500 a month. Now, that doesn't mean, using that percentage, that your car payment must be $500 a month.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if it was actually less than that?
Yeah.
So when you're looking at a car payment, if that's the way you're going to approach buying a car, most people do. Also take into consideration what your insurance is going to be on a monthly basis and what your gas is going to be on a monthly basis. And if insurance is $100 a month and your gas is $40 a month, well, then maybe your car payment shouldn't be any more than $360 a month, and your total monthly car expense is 10% of your gross monthly earnings, for which would be $500 a month.
I think a lot of people that are going to be watching this video, Dad, are people who previously never maybe even had a car because of everything that's going on with the pandemic.
Yes.
So I think a
Yes.
lot of people are going to end up on this video and they're going to be like, this is the first time I've ended up buying a car. I'm used to maybe I have a stipend from work that helped pay for public transportation, or I've taken, public transport, I've biked, but now I'm getting a car. So what are the other, would you factor in even maintenance expenses? Because I'm thinking back.
You should.
Yeah, because I'm thinking back to my car with those damn tires, man. Like, I spent
that wasn't maintenance. That was
wear and tear.
Well, yeah, unfortunate wear and tear. Yeah.
But so those are other. So buying a car is much more than just the payment.
Well, yes. Buying a car is your monthly payment, your depreciation, your insurance, your maintenance, your gas. And when you start adding all that up, for most people, the expense of a car is somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000 a year.
Wow.
When you factor in the depreciation portion of it. But most people don't want to do that because we don't want to confront the obvious sometimes.
What, that we're overspending on something?
You'll destroy the American economy. Stop it now. Okay? It might even be the worldwide economy, because everything that gets done today, whether it be in this country or in most major industrialized countries, is based on credit. So our economies don't work if people don't buy things that they can't afford.
Yeah,
okay,
no, I get it.
And the only way they can afford it is on a monthly basis. I think it's in Japan that for homes they have like 75-year mortgages. 75 years. Okay, that means you're paying a mortgage. Well, you're never not paying a mortgage.
No, I get it. I get it.
Unless you eat enough rice and fish that you can live to 100. But
that
otherwise,
was actually, so I went pescatarian. This is tangential. I went pescatarian like a long time ago. It was because I read a National Geographic article about that.
That is correct. Yes.
But okay, wait. So how do you approach it? Or like, what would your advice be to me if I go to buy? Like, let's say I sell my car and I'm
now that you have no income.
Yeah. Seriously.
Okay. I would tell you to walk.
I like walking.
I know you do. I would tell you to live in a city where everything is walkable, that has a high walking score.
Yeah.
But let's say you're back to making a living again. We're I don't know, pick a number. Say you're making $100,000 a year. Well, at 10%, then your monthly car expense should be no more than $1,000 a month.
And so let's play it out. Like maybe if a car payment's $500, insurance for me, I'm 20. How old am I?
24. Soon to be 25.
So I'm 24, so maybe it's like $100 a month,
Yeah, right now it's about $150, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. So let's say $150, so there's...
By the way, did you pay this month?
I did pay. I paid this morning.
Thank you.
$650 a month.
Yeah.
Gas, let's do another $50. There's $700. How much depreciation? Should I be factored in?
Well, at least 10%.
10% of the car's value?
A year, yeah.
So that's like a point per month, kind of?
Well, approximately speaking. Yeah.
So if I've got a $30,000
if you figure
car,
yours is more of a luxury sedan, so figure that it depreciates on an average somewhere between $400 and $500 a month.
So I'm already over $1,000.
I'm afraid you are, young man.
Wow.
Yeah.
And my car payment right now is actually like $750, not $500. So I'm way over $1,000.
Yeah, you are.
So if you're thinking about buying a car, you really should kind of go pen to paper and say, okay, if the payment's this month, get in a quote for the insurance. Because it's going to end up being more than what you're thinking.
Yeah. If you're thinking about buying a car, number one, you should think about leasing a car. Now, I know there's many people that are going to comment and say, oh, leasing's stupid. Well, no, leasing isn't stupid. And here's the reason why leasing isn't stupid. Leasing lets you know exactly what your costs are up front. And you know it for the term of the lease. If it's a 36-month lease, you know what your costs are. You know your monthly expense. The car's under warranty the whole time, so you know there's no warranty issues that you're going to have to take care of, or non-warranty issues that you're going to have to take care of. Yes, will there be maintenance, but it would be a limited amount of maintenance. Oil changes and things like that. It's not going to be a tune-up, because every car today comes with the platinum spark plugs, so that the first tune-up's not till 100,000 miles, so the next owner can do the tune-up. But you have controlled the expense. You know what the depreciation is going to be. You know what the future value is going to be. If you purchase a car, you don't know any of that.
It's almost like the purchase a car and go paying cash. It's like, sure, in a utopian world you do that, but since we live in reality, and in reality for a lot of people, leasing actually does make a lot of sense. There are negatives to it in the sense that the money factor, you're paying interest for the portion. But you know exactly what you're paying for. You know your monthly expense for it, and what you're doing is, an automobile is a depreciating item. What an accountant would refer to as a depreciating asset. What you try to accumulate in life are appreciating assets, not depreciating assets, which is why businesses, when it comes to anything that's a depreciating item, they lease it. Okay? Whether it be the furniture that's in their offices, whether it be the fixtures that are in the stores, whatever it is, they lease those items because they're a depreciating asset. You try to acquire things that are appreciating assets. And the other thing to consider for those who can't afford to pay cash for a car is most people, at least from my experience, and maybe I didn't get to deal with all the people that paid cash for cars or kept cars forever. I only got to deal with people who were getting rid of cars every 3 to 4 or 5 years. But most people always have a car payment. They never get to the point where they've paid off the car. So they know that there's a monthly expense involved that they're going to have with the car. Well, if you know that going in, why not lower that monthly expense? Because typically on a lease, you can get more car for less money. Okay, the payment's lower on a more expensive car, believe it or not, than if you were to buy it, because you're only paying for the depreciation portion and a small bit of interest over the life of the lease. So leasing makes, in my mind, for me, for most people who are accustomed to having a payment, and have accepted the fact that they're going to have an automobile payment all their life, it makes the most sense to lease it. Now, if suddenly you get to a stage in your life where you go, I'm keeping this car forever, you're his Uncle Kenny, okay, who keeps a car forever, who has a car that's 17 years old now, then by all means buy it, okay, because you don't care that it's a depreciating asset. You're going to keep it until, well, you die, or the car dies, whichever comes first. But if you're like the vast majority of people, and you've accepted that you're going to have X amount go out every month in a car payment, then lease the car, and that way you can be in a new car every 3 years. You can always be covered under warranty. You don't have any mystery expenses that are suddenly going to crop up. Leases include gap insurance built into them, so God forbid if you have an accident and the car gets totaled, you're not subject to any deficiency balances that are still owed to the bank. So there's many good reasons to lease, and I'm sure there'll be many comments that suggest there's many, many more reasons why you shouldn't. Well, I'm just a car guy. I don't know much. I've never professed to know much. I barely had my high school education and a couple years worth of college. But I'm telling you, lease the car. You're better off. And you've written a considerable number of guides back on our website, YourAutoAdvocate.com.
I do believe you ghostwrite them.
Only a few of them.
Yes.
I mean, you read all of them.
Well, I've been known to read them, yes.
Gotta make sure the stuff I'm writing makes sense, man.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, there's all sorts of guides about leasing. We have a couple videos about leasing as well. And if you are new in the market, this is the first time you're buying a car and you're trying to figure out how to navigate it, if you have questions about leasing, or in general, put them in the comments below. Believe it or not, we read through every single one of them. We might not reply to every single one.
Can't.
But we read every single one. It's much appreciated.
So how much can you afford? In my world, I would tell you no more than 10% of your gross monthly earnings should be going towards your car, including your car payment, your gas, and insurance and maintenance. That's my advice. Do with it what you will. My supposition is many of you will go higher than that, and that's okay because, well, you got to have that car. I get it.
And I imagine you saw in your career people who spent way too much money on cars.
Yeah, even when I advised them not to. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I can do is dispense the advice, and whatever you do with it is up to you. If you choose to use it...
What's your lease payment, just out of curiosity?
$380 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 That's not bad.
No, what do I make? $4,000 a month?
Yeah.
A little more than that?
Yeah.
Between Social Security and the little bit of income I have from the work I was doing. Yeah. So, guess what? It falls right into the 10% range.
That's pretty good, man.
Don't tell anybody.
All right, Dad. Thank you for this.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure, folks. We can do this again, I don't know, maybe tomorrow.
See you then.